Here we go.
The Department of Education here in Washington, D.C. is overwhelmingly staffed by radical left Marxist bureaucrats who are in every way hostile to Western civilization, hostile to American interests, and hostile to our founding documents and culture. And so they are using their position and influence inside the Department of Education to try to force agendas like radical gender ideology, like critical race theory, like diversity, equity, and inclusion, and all kinds of anti-America curricula and policies on the American people, on our students, on our children. So it's taking away from parents the ability to control and direct the education of their own kids, of their own families. So what we're going to do under President Trump's leadership and direction is to return that authority to the greatest extent possible to the local level where parents can control outcomes, while at the same time making sure that no federal funds are used to support racism, to support gender ideology, or support other ideas and principles that are offensive to the American taxpayer.
It's gone. Bye-bye, Department of Education. We won't miss you. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. What's up, everybody? Trump did it. He did it. Now, yes, it needs to be passed by Congress to be all the way official. I get it. But listen, this is something we've been wanting. This is something that's been huge. It's been in the wings. We've been waiting for this forever. I couldn't be more excited. I mean, this man he's just all the stuff we want, all the promises kept. It just continues. So we're going to cover that tonight on the Department of Education and why it's an amazing thing for America and why Trump is just killing it. On top of that, some more bombshells from the JFK files. I'm going to cover that as well. And then, my friends, justice is happening in our nation all over the place. I'm going to give you plenty of examples of that. And I'm also going to play in just a little bit here the biggest, most amazing smackdown by JD Vance on Kamala Harris you've ever heard. And it's amazing. And it makes me just love JD Vance so much more. So without further ado, let's say hey to the chat, and then we are going to get started in just a second. But first, Troy Man, number one tonight. Congrats, sir. What's up, Armand? Wago Waco. Then three amigos right there, starting it off. AJ Cassink, what's going on? Zach Butterfeld, Butterfeld and Butters right next to each other. I like it. I see what you did there. Vin Man, Drew Savala, Agent Orange, Scott Volkovich, Alan Krantz, what's up? Just Mike, Joe Scarpaggia, my man Show Enough in bed. I'm in bed with you right now. It's a little weird. It's a weird thought. That's all. Nothing strange here, guys. Kilvig, Hobbs, CJ Yukon, Patrice, Stephen Cromer, Randy Albert, back to the membership. Welcome, Randy. Thank you for being and joining the Ace Holes again. So now what, Michael Quintero, Hobbs, that economy girls on Tim Pool. I'm gonna have to watch that. Thank you for that. Hero at Large, what's up? Come out. I don't know about finger warrant. Sorry, I can't tell you about that right now. Frank Anastagio, Marco Sanchez, old man. Brett says, so does it mean the Department of Education is not going to be buying swingline staplers anymore? I don't know. It's a good question. I would say no, but I wanted the swingline because it doesn't jam up as much, and they took it from me, but I took it back. And I have a red one. And then I was by the window and it was lovely. I had a view and I'd watch the squirrels and they were married. Milton. That's one of my favorite movies. Don't get me started, Brett. I got news to talk about. Okay. Don't get me started on Office Space. I'll be quoting it all night. Ficus says, is the Department of Education totally gone or just dismantled and super small? Dismantled and super small for now. But I think this is just the beginning. This is how you do it. You take over, you get it done. I mean, if nothing else, worst case scenario, absolute worst case scenario is that the next president has to rebuild it from scratch. And that next president is going to be JD Vance. So I'm not too worried about it. Kit Kittredge says so much winning. Hero, DOE gone, your grandkids are more intelligent. I mean, it's amazing how it works, isn't it? That's Mike. The one we I can't go into that one right now, Mike, but thank you for that. LMI, that's my stapler. My show needs more flair. but 15 is the minimum. Yeah, if that's all you want to do to express yourself. You see Dave over there, he's got 37 pieces of flair. Don't get me started on Office Space. It's the best. It's the absolute best. All right, let's go. Let's just watch in all of its glory as Trump signs this. By the way, Trump, I always say he's the best marketer I've ever seen in my life. And here he is again, the master, signing this brilliant, amazing, spectacular executive order. And he does it in a classroom with kids. Just the nerve he has to do this to the liberals who are screeching out there that this is going bye-bye. And what does Trump do? He doesn't do it in a room by himself, make it about him. No, he sits in a classroom with kids as if saying, I'm doing this for the kids. They're going to be so much smarter. They're going to be it's a huge deal for the kiddos. This is great.
It was very lucky. I saw another document that turned out to be very good for the country, and I said, let's use that same pen. I don't know, is anybody superstitious? Ron, are you superstitious? Let's use that same pen. Okay.
Bye-bye, DOE. I love, they all got on too. That's awesome. He threw a flag on there, an American flag. That's awesome. That's good. Brilliant. I love it so much. The what was I just lost it. Not an auto pen, correct. Signs it right in front of everybody with the kids there. Just he's the master. He's the master of the stage. It makes me so happy. But I was going to say that the entire process of this has been masterful. I mean, he even chose a Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, and she flat out says, my job is to eliminate the Department of Education. And the Senate confirmed her. It's so great. It's so amazing. So now he does this, and there's still a Secretary of Education until the Senate passes this, but her whole job is going to be making sure it doesn't work. I love this, man. I love everything that's happening. Did I vote for this? I did vote for this. I'm so stinking happy. I really am. But let's take a look at why I'm happy. All right. By the way, did you guys see what I did there? You see, I figured it out. Figured out how to make Rumble make it bigger so you guys can read the tweets now, huh? Yeah. That's why you watch this show. Just getting better all the time. Improvements. Took a while, but I did it. I figured it out. I had to go around the limitations of Rumble and do something else, but I figured it out. And so now you guys, these nice big screenshots of tweets, not those little bitty ones that you can't read. So, all right, we have right here, the Department of Education, $3 trillion spent since 1979, virtually nothing to show for it. Look at this. This should make everybody sick, including any liberals who stop in to watch this. It should make you sick and excited at the same time that this nonsense is done. Look at this cost. 1970, and it just goes up. Here's the Department of Education once it hits the dotted lines over, and the costs just soar. All right, just soar. And what happens to everything else? Well, the employees go way up, but math scores basically unchanged. Reading scores down a bit. Science scores down. Enrollment up. So we turned it into daycare. That's what public school became. We turned it into daycare, and we turned our colleges into communist manufacturing factories. That's what we've done with the Department of Education. It's all we've gained for it. Total cost is the full cost of the K through 12 education. By the way, this is only through 2010. This is only through 2010. If this ran through 2025, these charts would be much lower, because the last 10 years since, you guessed it, Obama took over the education system, and then COVID on top of that, the 1-2 punch of liberals being in charge of 12 of the last 16 years plus COVID, the test scores are all now much lower. So, but this only runs through 2010. So there you go. So this is only through George Bush's No Child Left Behind. But as of 2010, the full cost of K through 12 education of a single student graduating in 1970, $57,000. That's their entire education, kindergarten through 12. In 2010, tripled, $164,000. I bet in today's dollars, it's closer to 250. Okay, with inflation plus the cost rising. So let's just call it 250 or two. We'll call it 200. We'll be nice. Today, 200,000 to K through 12. That's what we spend on each student in the public school system, and nothing to show for it. It's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Oh, I thought I had another one ready to go. Hold on a second. Nope. All right. I thought I had another graph. Sorry, guys. But okay, well, this is enough. The Department of Education also, just so you guys know, it can't bear the full blame for this, because it really doesn't do much except set standards and then send money out. Now, the rest of it has been, but here's the deal. When you appoint something federally, the states and the localities stop being as involved. It's just like, well, it's like a voter problem. Conservatives, in my opinion, one of the reasons we lost our country for so long and just now getting it back is because we took decades off. Yeah, there were some fighters up there, but for the most people, guys, we just sat down and like, we're like, okay, cool. A lot of it since Reagan, by the way, we just kind of sat out. We were like, don't mess with us. We didn't get on school boards. We didn't do local stuff. We paid attention on the national scene, but we didn't get really, really involved locally until Trump. And really after the 2020, it started happening again. And look how fast we took our country back once that happened. Because we are the majority. We truly are. I'm not saying 100% are all our values aligned, but we are common sense and traditional values. Like we want families. We want nuclear families. We want to work our jobs. We don't want nonsense in our schools. We don't want any of that craziness. We can have our little disagreements here and there, but the most people in America are just regular people who want to go about their lives. But that's the problem. They don't want to get involved in politics either. And the problem is the crazy lefties do. They want to get in power. They know that if they get in power, they get their way. And so while the rest of us are just minding our own business, they went after power. And it's just like in Gladiator, when Marcus Aurelius goes to Maximus and is like, "Would you take this great honor I give you?" And Maximus is like, "Caesar, with all my heart, no. That is why, Maximus, it must be you." And that's why we got to get involved because we're the ones who don't want to do it. Well, we didn't with our school system, and the Department of Education came in, Jimmy Cotta, put in the Department of Education. All of a sudden, all the stuff just slowed down. Local municipalities stopped paying as much attention to their schools. The states just were like, cool, we'll cede our standards to the federal government, and we all just took out. And now, like, we've completely lost it. You know what? And this sickens me to say it because I hate public school, and I've hated public school my whole life. I went to public school through 5th grade, and I was very fortunate. My parents sacrificed, put me through a really run down private school, but it was still a private school. And they got a discount because my dad was a pastor, and they sacrificed to put me through it. And I was very blessed for that. And now with my kids, we homeschool. They do go to a co-op, which is other homeschoolers, so they can do some extra classes and meet some people. But that's it. You know, I've hated homeschool my whole life. I mean, homeschool. I've hated public school my whole life. And I could tell the difference because I've been to both. And I was in California, where California was already the one, you know, they kind of led the charge of public schools falling into disaster. But once upon a time, public schools in America were not that bad. In fact, the education was great, but it got ruined. And that's where we are today. So the Department of Education needs to go. It's going. And the other part of this, where actually most of the money from the DOE goes, is into the colleges and in the universities. And that's, my friends, is where we really want things to get crippled, because the universities have gotten too powerful. They've basically been given a free ride off the back of making debt slaves out of students. So the college system, it's so evil. It's unbelievably evil. But they made a deal. And once again, I do believe this was Reagan. God, I love Reagan, but he did some really dumb stuff. But they guaranteed loans to the government. So if the government gave you a loan, it was guaranteed, could never be bankrupt. So if you take out that government loan to go to college, Sally Mae, you get straddled with that debt your entire life. You cannot go bankrupt from it. There's no freedom. They will garnish your wages if you don't pay them. Meanwhile, the schools love it, because this means it's free money for them, because the students are guaranteed to get those loans. So what happened? College gets more and more expensive. The education didn't get better, but all of a sudden you can take classes in Klingon. You can do LGBTQ studies. I know somebody who graduated in a degree from the Rhode Island School of Design, RISD, which is one of the most prestigious schools in the nation. They graduated with a degree that cost them over $250,000, and their degree was furniture design. Do you know what they're doing with that degree now? They don't do anything. She's married to a dude who takes care of her, and she sits on her butt all day. That is the education system, where you can charge these exorbitant prices. These colleges get better and better facilities. Come see our gym. Come see our, I saw a school that did they had a river going through their school where you could go tubing on it. Yeah, more and more money. Let's throw more money into these facilities. We attract kids because we want to get them away from their parents. We want them to live on campus so we can brainwash them with our communist manifestos and also make bank the whole time. The kids don't know that they just signed a lease on their future for it. That is what the DOE did. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm so glad it's gone. So anyways, before we plunge more into seriousness, I got to show you guys one of the best things I saw all day today. JD Vance today on this show asked about Kamala Harris. So that's the Department of Education. So long. We won't miss you. And if anybody else has anything, put it in the chat. I'll get to it in a minute. But first, we got to watch this because this is just too good.
How are you doing the job differently than Kamala did it? Well, I don't have 4 shots of vodka before every meeting. That's one way I think that Kamala really tried to bring herself into the role is these word salads, and I think that I would need the help of a lot of alcohol to answer a question the way that Kamala Harris answered questions. I mean, look, man, I don't know. My sense is, and this is a little bit of guesswork. Obviously, I don't talk to Kamala Harris or Joe Biden very.
How amazing is that? I'm sorry, we got to play it one more time. Restart. My favorite part is when he's asked about his connection to Kamala Harris, and he just laughs. He doesn't even say anything first. He just starts laughing.
How are you doing the job differently than Kamala did it?
Well, I don't have 4 shots of vodka before every meeting. That's one way I think that
it's Franzia, JD. Brett, you need to go talk to JD Vance. It's Franzia. It's not vodka. It's Franzia. She's got that box wine, Oh my God. This guy, he's got to be our next president. I'm so excited. Every poll on the Republican side, CPAC, you name it, every stinking poll has JD up by so far. I think he's 46% the last one I saw, 10% is the next person. He will have to fall off a cliff he'll have to murder somebody's puppy in the backyard of the White House to not be the nominee next time. That's what I'm estimating. But man, I am so excited about this guy. He's like a better spoken Trump. And he's gonna do stuff, take Trump to the next level. All right. Take MAGA to the next level, I should say. Let me catch up in the chat real quick, and then I have some things to talk about with new JFK revelations. JFK bombshells dropping here and there and everywhere. And so we're going to talk about that in just a second. But first, let me catch up in the chat. Take a second here. Make sure I got everything going here. Chris Ronquillo says, I feel like a Democrat. I like the podcast 3 times a day, once on Rumble and twice on YouTube. I'll take it, Chris. Thank you so much. Let's see. Kit is very excited about Finger, so I'll let him continue that in the discussion there. Randy Lochtefeld says Department of Education was a payoff by Carter administration to the teachers unions. I didn't know that. I'll have to look into that. I wonder how that all went down. That's a very interesting. Just Mike says, watched Reagan last weekend. It's pretty good. I need to watch that. That sounds great. Just Mike, universities need to lose tax exempt status. I completely agree with that. Danny Jagal says, I remember I got a free t-shirt when I signed up for my first credit card on campus. Free money. Wasn't worried or educated about that 29% APR. 100%. That is exactly what happened to me. Free t-shirt. I got a city card, and my first limit was $800. Just sign my name right in front of the cafeteria. Yep, that's how they got me. Country Computer says like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Brett Montgomery reminds everybody like and subscribe. With 49 likes so far of 130 people. Just hit it, guys. Just hit it. We can do this. We can do it. We can hit 100 likes tonight and get this video out there to the world, because people need to see it. They need to see it. I don't know why, but they do. They need it and they don't know it. So hit the like and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys. Akira is doing IPAs all day. What you drinking tonight, my friend? Kit says JD was so impressive in the debate. Midterm's going to turn up heat even more. I totally agree with you. Big JR, hey, you guys. And International Carburetor Day is coming, Brett. What are you sprinkling on that breakfast? You can eat them. What makes the carburetors go down better? Is it butter? And last comment before I move on here. Dean Jennings says, sadly, we're about to witness a major market crash. The elite setup. Jesus will protect us all. Watch XRP. It'll be incorporated into system. B system, he says. I agree with almost everything you said there, Dean, except for the B system part. But everything else, you and I are simpatico, and I talk about it here all the time. So we are well ready over here, because it's going to crash so it can be reset and rebuilt. And then we're going into the greatest economy this nation's ever seen, built by Trump, MAGA, and JD Vance, and that's what's coming. Citibank is terrible. All right, let's keep moving here. Tonight, Anna Paulina Luna announces more JFK files loaded to the archives. Now that, my friends, is pretty stinking exciting, because the last drop had some really, really interesting stuff in it. And we're going to cover that in just a second, but I cannot wait. People are doing such good deep dives on this. It's extremely impressive. And so let's move over here, because I'm going to cover this right here. I mean, it's got to do something here real quick, guys. All righty. I had to make a change of the chat. I forgot to set it to subscribers only. Just want to make sure no trolls come in. Okay. So what's up, DFF and Value? Haven't seen you in a while. Groundbreaking JFK files. The unredacted Church Committee exposes CIA's secret role. Why can't I say that? In the atomic weapons transfer, arming Israel with the nuke technology against JFK's wishes. Unredacted files reveal Mr. Angleton. There's a lot of stuff on this Angleton guy. It is very interesting. All this crazy stuff coming out about him. Carburetors was shot at Castrol GTX. He confirms that atomic technology and our knowledge was transferred to Israel against the wishes of JFK. That's crazy. This is groundbreaking revelations. This secret transfer provides clear motive for wanting JFK eliminated. He did not want Israel to have nuclear weapons and took significant steps to prevent it, including diplomatic pressure, demands for inspections, and warnings about the consequences for U.S.-Israel relations. Here's the details. Unredacted portions disclosed. Transfer involved not just technology, but also knowledge of atomic matters, facilitated through intermediaries, scientists, and possibly journalists. Angleton admits to having met with Israeli scientists and officials, including Ben Wells, to discuss involvement of plutonium, key material, and nuclear weapons development. This is wild. This means that our president, JFK, one of the last not deep state affiliated presidents there was, if not the last, depending on who you ask, before Trump, that is, he had serious issues with giving Israel nuclear weapons. Now, I'm not going to debate how that's worked out. That's not the point. That is not the point. Okay. You guys know my thoughts on Israel. I am not extreme over here that they can do whatever and they're blessed no matter what, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that nonsense. That's bad theology. And I don't believe the other side, which is Israel is the enemy of everything. I don't believe that either. That is stupid. It's short-sighted and it deflects from who the real enemies are, which is the people behind the people. The people behind the bad stuff Israel does, the people behind the bad stuff America does. It's a deflection, a just label their entire. So you guys know where I'm at. I'm in the middle. Israel does some awful stuff, but also Israel isn't perfect, but Israel is not the devil. Okay, so I'm in between. So anyways, but that's crazy that our president didn't want them to have nukes, and instead we didn't just fight to get them nukes, take them out, but we fought or took them out to share all of our nuclear secrets with them. That's crazy. So wild stuff. Says the files indicate Israel had acquired plutonium for its nuclear program, which aligns with historical knowledge of Israel's development of nuclear capabilities. Angleton expressed concern about implications of this transfer, noting it was done clandestinely and that the U.S. government might not have been informed. He mentions the need to keep matters secret, potential fallout if it became public knowledge. Holy smokes. And here it is. A lot of this was unredacted. So again, it's more CIA stuff has been coming out as well. Angleton and his connections with Israel and what they were trying to do, which the wildest thing in all of this, maybe not the wildest thing, but it's one of the wildest things. It's that How the heck did Israel have so much power? How the hell was it secret police, Mossad, Israeli intelligence, whatever? How were they so strong within just less than 2 decades of them being a nation? Israel was created in 1948. That's when they drove out the Arabs and just gave that land to Israel, which whatever. I'm neutral on that. I think land has been taken from people throughout all of history. It happens. It sucks. But it's a reality. I'm not one of those who going to make a big deal of that. But the first contacts between Angleton and Israeli intelligence and then having sway over all this stuff was 1954. That's 6 years. Most governments are barely functioning in their first 6 years, and they already were doing all this. And then by the time Kennedy was there, that's only 15 years until he died. And they already were pulling all this off. That is just wild. And that, to me, guys, is one of the clear evidences that Israel itself isn't so much the problem. It's who they put into power at times in Israel. Puppet masters, because it was basically the first version of the WEF, World Economic Forum, that created Israel. And that's where it gets kind of interesting. So Ronald asks, why don't I see a join button? Are you on an Apple device? If you're on an Apple device, you're not going to see a join button unless you go to through your browser and put it on desktop mode. That's the only way you can join on Apple. Sorry, Google and Apple hate each other. Big JR, yes, you are a mod, man. I've known you so long at this point, and I trust you. So you are my third. I'm adding more mods as we go because it's just good to have some. Brett and Vin been doing a great job. Brett is really taken to it, promoting stuff, and JR and Eric's barely here. He was my first mod. So yeah, I'm adding mods as we go. All right, here's some more. Here, I found a clear connection between Oswald, Israel, the CIA, and MK Ultra. Fun. This newly unredacted JFK files reveal conversation involving Senator Baker, Angleton, and others discussing espionage allegations tied to Israel, mentioning someone identified as Sidney X. Sidney X later identified as Sidney Gottlieb. Highlighted section references Gottlieb was a source linked to, unredacted, a scientist, plutonium atomic energy, and the CIA's Technical Services Division, hinting at covert operations unbeknownst to many. Unredacted text suggests deeper CIA involvement in international espionage involving Israel and highlights Gottlieb's role in sensitive operations. Who is Sidney Gottlieb? American chemist and head of CIA's Technical Service Division who led MK Ultra. This stuff is crazy, man. This stuff is crazy. Most of the world hasn't gone through these yet. They haven't caught up with all this stuff going on in these files because it's so many. And already today and yesterday, I've already been seeing shows that are saying, the JFK files are kind of a nothing burger. We already knew it. Not much in there, blah, blah, blah. They're trying already to talk it away. How do they know there's nothing in there? We just got a drop of 13,000 more pages tonight. And to say there's nothing in there. Why? Because they're protecting all these intelligence agencies. The media is run by them. They're protecting the CIA and they're protecting Israeli intelligence and FBI and yada, yada, yada. Lyndon Johnson, probably. That's what they're doing because all this is red flag. And thank God for X, because on X, there's real research being done into these files. And notice, I will say, because I think this is important, notice which creators, especially on the conservative side, aren't covering this. I've been telling you guys, we're exposing our own. There's several people on the right, creators, people with shows, personalities, influencers that are completely hijacked by the deep state and they're either running controlled opposition or they are just promoting their ties are deep with the what was that? The oppo side of the Republicans, the side that the old school Republicans that want to get rid of Trump, the Bush wing Republicans. And one of the ways is they supported DeSantis. I'll just leave that out there. Which explored mind control using LSD and other methods on unwitting subjects. That's MK Ultra. Sidney was known as the Black Sorcerer. He developed tools and poisons for covert ops. He worked out of Atsugi, Japan, a known CIA hub used for U-2 flights and drug experiments, and that's where Oswald went. Oswald was there during the same period during the MK Ultra experience when Gottlieb was there. Yesterday, he uncovered newly unredacted JFK files showing Oswald's commander went on record to state Oswald was in fact recruited by the CIA in Japan. This declassified CIA cable from 96 provides compelling evidence Lee Harvey Oswald was in fact CIA asset, which we already mostly knew. This cable's existence reveals agency on high alert, carefully managing narrative threats to expose long-buried secret. Oswald's recruitment by COA during his time at Atsugi Naval Air Force Base. Context: Oswald station known blah 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 station there, and now Sidney Gottlieb, Black Sorcerer, actually at that time in charge of MK Ultra. That is wild, my friends. If Oswald had no connection to CIA, why would agency need to coordinate such a high-level internal response to journalist inquiry more than 30 years after the assassination? And here's all the documents. This is crazy stuff, guys. This is wild. And we got to pray, and I believe this is already starting, but we need to pray that this continues to get out there. It continues to spread. Because again, my theory on all this is that Trump is starting with these files, the JFK files, then the MLK files, then we'll move up to eventually get, I think, the 9/11 files. And it's just going to be a drip, drip, drip of here's the deep state. Here's what they really do. All these major occurrences in history. Look who's behind it. Look who actually did this. You guys don't want to believe there's a deep state. You want to think we're conspiracy theorists? Check this out. Here it is. Drip, drip, drip. And he's starting with JFK because JFK is the one that most people subscribe to at least a little bit, or they have questions for. So they'll be curious. Because if you just drop Epstein files, that's fine. But there's going to be a whole lot of people who aren't ready for it. There's going to be a whole lot of people. We're ready for it. But we're paying attention. We're going deep. Most Americans aren't. Most Americans are still like, hey. Or they're burning Teslas. They're not ready for it. But if we drip it and the awakening spreads and it just, more people wake up, and then boom, it's time. And then we can go after the people who are trouble today with Epstein files and so on and so forth. So it's crazy. This is wild. And I cannot, it's shocking to me that more people aren't calling attention to this stuff. But again, it tells you when the people who are silent, it tells you something. MRTKO asks, earlier when I mentioned garnishing wages for not repaying student loan, what happens when you're self-employed? I mean, the IRS will start coming after you. That's how it works. K Ultra sounds like a Ukrainian bear. I like that. Alan Krantz, don't go there. I feel about them. You are dragging my show down? What am I dragging my show down about? What do you mean, Alan? Johnny, wonder if there are any connections to Fort Bragg. Oh man, those Fort Bragg stuff was crazy. Yeah. Oh well, that's another file dump we'll eventually get. That's another file dump we're gonna get is Trump's assassin, because somebody brought this up the other day and it was such a good point. Isn't it crazy? There's still so little we know about that assassin, about the one that shot Trump in the face. I mean, yeah, it is crazy. It makes no sense at all. Makes no sense at all. Randy, RFK files drop will show MK Ultra association with Charles Manson, Saran or Saran. Well, I don't doubt that at all. In fact, has anybody else read Chaos about Manson? I mean, I think the evidence is astounding, and I think it's just fully there that Manson was absolutely CIA. I just think I honestly don't think there's any question about it. There's so much evidence. Sirhan probably too. I haven't researched that one, so I'm not going to speak to it, but I'm sure it was. Alan says England backed Israel in World War II. Secret agreement. I bet England gave them atomic weapon. Oh, I bet that. You're probably right. That's probably where they got the plutonium. Yeah. I have a dream one day to have Tom Luongo on here. Some of you might know who he is. He's famous, but he's not that famous. But his work on how much London is behind a lot of this stuff is fascinating, and I think it's spot on. But I won't do it justice. Johnny says we won't need term limits if we get the Epstein files. Man, what's up? In love with Gork right now, going through questions, asking about perfect scenarios for short squeeze. Awesome. Yeah, we're not going to cover that tonight, but if you want to watch or Grok. Oh, okay, MM. I was wondering, Gork. Yeah, you should do it. Grok's awesome. Talking about Daily Wire. I didn't specifically go after him. Not tonight, anyways. I can't stand Daily Wire. That doesn't mean I don't like all their content. Don't misunderstand me. I just have serious issues with them. But anyways, not going there tonight, Alan. Don't worry. All right, let's switch gears here a little bit. I'm going to keep, guys, I will keep updating on JFK files as it comes out. Everything I see that's extremely interesting, I will share. So don't worry, I will do my best. But there's a lot out there. So if I miss something, please feel free to send it to me. You can email it to me. My email is in the description, or you can follow me on X and DM me. And honestly, that's the best way to get a hold of me. I check X a lot more than I check my email. But anyways, just so you know, please like and subscribe, says Brett Montgomery. Hello, silent viewers. We appreciate you being here. If you could hit like, it helps the stream and algorithm. He is 100% right. So please like and subscribe. And if you really like this content and you want more of it, please consider joining. It's only $3 a month, but that $3 a month helps me put on all this content because it adds up. And I only charge $3 because I don't want to push anybody. You just got to give up that 7-Eleven coffee once a month. And I'm sorry, I know you love it, but if you give that up, you get members lives every Wednesday night and you get access to the Discord where there's all kinds of stuff going on all the time. So please consider joining the channel to support it, to make it so I can keep going as much as I do. And then obviously if you're like, you know what, I like you enough to do more than 3, a super chat's always welcome. So thank you. That's my spiel there. All right. But like and subscribe because that's free. That's free. That doesn't cost you anything. Okay. The feds have charged the adorable Cori Bush, her husband, with pandemic loan fraud. Oh, this feels so good. Squad member Cori Bush got walloped in the last election. She's bye-bye now in the government. But you know what? This shows me this is just the beginning of justice coming to people that have been obviously corrupt for a long time now. But listen, it was kind of an unspoken rule before that you really didn't go after your opponents or other people in government unless it was just overwhelming and you couldn't stop anymore. But that all changed as they kept going after Trump for nothing. And so now justice is actually coming to some of these people. So Cori Bush constantly called Donald Trump a criminal and racist. Her husband arrested in St. Louis, Missouri, following a federal indictment unsealed. I wonder how many of those are left to be unsealed. He faces 3 counts of wire fraud stemming from his alleged actions to fraudulently obtain COVID-19 relief funds. Bro, your wife was in the House of Representatives. All you had to do was ask Nancy for some of those stock tips. You didn't have to do wire fraud. If you had just getting Nancy stock tips, you'd be set, bro. And it's a lot more than what you would have gotten here. The charges accuse him of lying on applications for loans under the PPP and the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, which were designed to help businesses and individuals during the pandemic. Specifically, Merritt's is alleged to have falsely claimed, by the way, Merritt's. How do I know you're liberal? Your wife wouldn't take your last name, you cuck. He's alleged to have falsely claimed on a 2021 PPP loan application he owned a business with gross receipts of $104,000 and 5 employees. Hold up. Time out. What business is bringing in $104,000 and can afford 5 employees? I think that's the first warning sign right there. Secured a $20,800 loan that was later forgiven with $254 in interest. Prosecutors say he misrepresented a business's operations and payroll, you think, using the funds for personal expenses rather than a state purpose. Oh, man. What a dum-dum. Additionally, in 2020, he reportedly applied for $10,000 EIDL advance, receiving $8,500 after falsely claiming it was for a business he owned. Again, misrepresenting its status, using the money for personal gain. You know what happened? I can guarantee you I know what happened. Wifey told him, oh, honey, they're not even going to be checking for the fraud. Just go get some of that money. Just go get some of that money. You know, you do that and, nobody's going to go after you. I guarantee you that's what he did or what she did. It's insane. So anyways, the fact this happened is just awesome. It's just awesome, but it's not over. It's not over. Because there was another investigation that found she paid her husband $150,000 to be her bodyguard. Now, riddle me this. I think if you're a representative, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, your salary is somewhere between $175,000 and $250,000. I can't remember exactly what it is. I know they gave themselves a raise recently, but I can't remember how high. But how do you pay your husband with your little salary $150K a year? That's a little cray-cray. That's a little cray-cray. Courtney Merritt's, who secretly married Bush in 2023, falsified details about his businesses. Anyways, that's the same old thing. But there she is.
$10 more on it. You know what? I get to be here to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police has to happen. We need to defund the police and put.
Oh man, she's like Lil Kim out there. Listen, this woman's so stupid. I'm so glad she's gone. She's part of the squad. She was awful. But anyways, husband, you're going bye-bye. You're going to go behind bars and ain't nobody going to miss you. But again, just to me, guys, this is awesome because it shows us that really justice, man, like Trump is getting stuff done. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, they're not afraid anymore. There's no fear anymore to go after these people. And I think that is a huge deal that we're starting to see that. Brett asked, did I see the federal indictments of LA gang members, ones using taxpayer dollars for gang intervention programs, and Karen Bass getting kickbacks? No. Well, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. Thanks, Brett. Good tip. Country says he could have also submitted an expense report to USAID for work done in the government. He would have gotten more. USAID was very generous. He wasn't the sharpest guy in the box, I would say, for sure. I can say jail, Randy. Rosemary Kennedy, Margaret Thatcher. Vin, you have the craziest conspiracy theories. Brett says, what do you find the police so they won't investigate you for fraud? How ridiculous. What do you find the police? What do you find the police? I missed it. I miss it. Johnny says, that's it. My wife needs to give me a raise. Oh, and Alan, thank you for finding this. $174,000 a year for a house member base salary. And she was giving her hubby $150K to be her bodyguard. Maybe she was getting those Nancy tips. Vinman says, when I see Cori Bush, I think of Rachel Zegler's back hair. Oh, that's so mean and so funny. Okay, another win. Today, I'm going to go like rapid fire through some of these. New York's top court strikes down the NYC law allowing illegal aliens to vote in their municipal elections, but they're still allowed to vote in federal elections. How crazy is that? So this will ultimately be struck down, but so this is the beginning of it, but still, it's crazy they passed it in the first place. Oh, defund the police. That's what you were saying. So defund the police. Why do you defund the police? So they won't investigate for fraud. Okay, I get it now, Brett. I get it. All right. Laura Loomer, who I don't always love, but has some great stories sometimes. And this one's pretty crazy. So let's skip down to here. But she found Reid Hoffman, who is the founder of LinkedIn. If you don't already hate LinkedIn, which by the way, LinkedIn sucks, but if you don't already hate it, you should, because Reid Hoffman is a POS, and he's not only is he a POS, but he is one of the definites who is part of Epstein Island. So that'll be coming out. But documenting Reid Hoffman, how his donations went to the Soros-tied Hopewell Fund, may have made its way to Sunrise Movement groups vandalizing Tesla. So Reid Hoffman's helping with Soros fund these Teslas blowing up. And now they're going after Laura for exposing it. Says these Soros groups are claiming my reporting is defamatory because they claim without evidence that $500,000 they donate, according to publicly available records, was already spent before the violent Tesla protests. So they're digging into this, but it's pretty crazy that they're funding that. And it's not the only thing they're funding, because right here we have Chucky Schumer admitting that at the town halls where the Republicans are being taken out, because the Republicans have been told don't do town halls right now because they were getting yelled down so much by paid people. And now the media is using it to say that Republicans are weak and scared and they won't go to the people. It's like one of their dastardly plans that would have worked,
folks,
before Trump and X. But it doesn't work anymore because we expose these narratives. And so here's Chuck Schumer. This is Josh Hawley, senator. Chuck Schumer said the quiet part out loud, Democrats sending AstroTurf protesters to disrupt Republican town halls. It's not organic. It's acting. Dems aren't a political party. They're a theater troupe funded by George Soros. And here's the clip.
We just say, listen, recognize these are AstroTurf folks. And Chuck Schumer said the quiet part out loud. They are sending people into these districts. Sean, let's face it, the Democrat Party these days, they're not really a political party anymore. They're just a theater troupe that is funded by George Soros. And that's what we're seeing. Theater actors who are showing up at these meetings, pretending to be constituents. They're not. We're not going to fall for it. We're going to deliver for the American people.
Sorry, guys. I thought that was the Chuck Schumer part, but still. So I don't have that one ready. Oh, well, doesn't matter. Chuck Schumer admitted it on the floor today. And basically he said something to the effect of our people are going to these things, something like that. I can't remember the exact words, but basically admitted it. And Holly calls him out here. Kryptonian says this shows us that AOC could get charged. Oh, for stopping, for calling out and helping immigrants not get deported. Yeah, maybe. Loomer has had some good stuff this week. I agree, Roger. Brett says Reid Hoffman is so homely. You know he is at Epstein throwing out C notes like they were giving out chips and salsa. Ew. I don't want to know. I don't want to think about that. My God. Country says Alex Jones and Megyn Kelly, next power couple. It would break the internet. It would 100% break the internet. It'd also break my brain. As far as I know, they're both happily married, especially Megyn. I think she's been with her hubby for a long time. That would be pretty nuts. By the way, I'm going to call out some awesome, well, I'm thinking about it, but there was a time, do you guys remember when Megyn Kelly, she get called out Trump, and she was kind of like on the fence, like a little bit light, Republican light, pretty annoying for a while there. I got to tell you, since NBC betrayed her and then she got vax injured, man, she's on fire conservative now. She is awesome. And her show is one of the best shows out there for MAGA people, for MAGA conservatives. Megyn Kelly's show now is awesome. And I highly recommend it for anybody. In fact, her episode today was super good. So just a little plug there for Megyn. And, you know, for 50s, she's not bad on the eyes, and either. I have a little bit of a crush on her. All right, let's continue. Bill Pulte, new director of federal housing, just appointed. You guys might know him as the guy on Twitter who's like this post for $1,000. He's always giving away money. Our very own Mark knows him. Mark hasn't been on in a while, but says Monday, knock, knock, nobody's home. Look at this. This is crazy. So this is why Doge is cutting people, folks. Look at what he found when he went into the office of the Department of Housing.
Monday, knock, knock, nobody's home. Look at this. Got this big, beautiful area where employees are supposed to work. Nobody's here. So we're in the second headquarters at Freddie Mac. We were just in the other building. There was nobody there for miles and miles and miles. Look at these desks. They're clean. We've got a cafeteria, again, that's completely vacant. You've got food that's being prepared. The staff that makes the food is here 5 days a week, but the people who work in this building or should work in this building aren't here 5 days a week. Monday.
How crazy is this? If this doesn't infuriate you, if this doesn't make you more a fan of Doge, I don't understand what will. This man is at the flipping Freddie Mac. It's one of the biggest loan, they push out loans by the millions. And there's nobody there. Now, yes, some of these people are working at home, but don't get me wrong. Most of these people are not working or are working the bare minimum. And they are making, on average, $120,000 a year, which I know is more than most of us. And that doesn't include their benefits package, which for most of them is worth 40 to 80 grand on top of that a year as well. Plus federal working hours. This is insane. And a cafeteria day in and day out where they make food for the people. They're required to be there. They're required to make this food. Just letting all this food go to waste just in case somebody shows up. This is disgusting. And this is Washington, D.C. We've been hearing it ever since COVID, that it's a ghost town. William goes on his walks. He talks about it on his channel. It's a ghost town. There's nobody there. It's insane. And, my wife gets mad at me because I don't feel bad for the people who've lost their jobs. I don't. And, she's not political. She's a nice person, doesn't want to be involved. She just, whatever. I love her. She was like, as long as Bobby Kennedy's in there, I'm good. And, with Trump. And so that's all she cares about. She's good. But she follows on Facebook and she sees all the videos that pop up here and there. And she always like, these poor people are losing their jobs. I'm like, honey, you don't understand. They don't do anything. I was like, where were you? Did you care when 30,000 Google employees got let go last year? No. Why do you care about this? Because the media is pushing that to everybody. It's pushing it to everybody that you need to feel bad for these people, that Elon Musk is a monster. Trump's a monster. They're just, but no, these people aren't working and they make crap ton of money compared to average Americans. It's disgusting. And I don't feel bad for them. But you know what? If you lost your job, it means A, you weren't one of the good ones, or B, you were working in the wrong place. Okay. That sucks. It does. If you're a good person. Okay. But guess what? We've all been fired or laid off. We've all gone through it. We've all been through hard times. You're going to land on your feet and you'll do better. But I just don't feel bad for you in the sense that your life's going to fall apart. It won't. Stop being a baby. Grow up. You can always find a new job. And in fact, if you learn how to get better, if you learn how to innovate, it'll probably end up better than what you already had. Because when you stagnate, you get worse. Roger says Megan needs a guy with a dad bod like mine. Now that I don't know. I have to ask her. Randy says that Megan's considering a run for Connecticut governor. Are you serious? That would be wild. I haven't heard her say that. CBT says Candace's most recent video explains in detail Israel rose to power. Oh, I'll have to go watch that. Barb says listen to Megan every day. She's super bright, fearless, and gorgeous. Happily married. She talks about her spouse all the time. I agree, and that's why Roger. I don't think you're gonna. I don't think it's gonna work out for you. Roger says if I live 5 miles in that place, I get free lunch every day. Right? I mean, we should. It's government funded. Jesus said to Peter, "Get behind me, devil." Well, you did. Why are you saying it? They should hire more people to fill up those desks. They're understaffed. Oh my God, you guys are too funny. Please like and subscribe. Thank you, Brett. Kimber says, are they at least feeding the homeless in DC with that food? Yeah, you wish. That's not how this works. I worked at Starbucks and they forced us to throw away everything extra. That's how they do it. It's crazy. Johnny says that next Dems will hire fake government employees to fill the empty buildings. Well, the Dems aren't in charge. Thank God. Thank God. Vanman says Biden fired the federal workers for not getting vaxxed. Dem said nothing. 100%. You are absolutely right, Vin. You called it. Alan says lib judge today told Trump Marco they could not hire someone to lead USAID. Time for Trump to give him the finger, the judges. The judge thing is so frustrating. I 100% agree. I feel like they are stuck between a rock and a hard place on what to do with the judges. What I feel like they need to start doing is they need to get to the point, if this keeps happening, they need to say, listen, we can't operate like this anymore. You're a district judge. We will not abide by your order until it goes to the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court shuts us down. That's what Trump should do. He should just finally come out and say, I can't keep doing this because it's insane. All these judges attacking us, stopping what we're doing. So it will go to the Supreme Court and we will abide by whatever the Supreme Court decides. That forces the Supreme Court to get into action. And it also allows them to continue. So, but I have a feeling they expected this. I really do. I think they have plans. But we'll see. Like an example of that is that one of the things they shut down, one judge, they put an order that Elon Musk couldn't fire people or something like that. And the workaround was really easy. Then they just have Elon now providing the reports to Rubio and he's firing people. So that's how you do it. Yeah. Schumer said they place these judges. I know they know where to go is what it is. They know exactly where to file because they know that which judge they'll get. Kimber says, I give a lot of credit to Elon for not walking away. I would have last week. Oh, it's got to be tough. But Elon believes, man, he's a true believer in what they're doing and saving America. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah, the military got discharged too, JR. You're right. Yeah. Not one peep from the Democrats then. They didn't care. That's because Democrats, I'm not saying all Democrats, okay? A lot of Democrats are good people that are just confused or they've been lied to their whole life and they don't know what to do about it. That's a lot of them. But when I say Democrats, I mean two people. I mean people in politicians and media. That's one sphere. People in some kind of power and influence. And then I mean the true believers who are just all in crazy. Okay. So when I say Democrats, that's what I mean. Just in case you're a moderate Democrat, I'm not going after you. So, but the Democrats, and I had to preface it because this is going to be kind of harsh. The Democrats keep proving that they actually do not have hearts. They are straight up just blind with rage and they have no empathy for anything beyond themselves. They're narcissists. It's an entire party run by narcissists. They love bomb you to get you to love them. They make everything about them. And then the second they have to actually try to see somebody else, they can't. They cannot see beyond their own feelings and thoughts. And that is textbook narcissism. They're just gone, man. They're so gone. And it's almost impossible to save a narcissist. because once you're that deep in your own world, I mean, my God. So and it just shows you climate change. Tesla's the best ever. Elon disagrees with them. They start literally blowing up Teslas. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. What's the name of Megyn Kelly's Weimaraner? I don't know. Johnny says Elon put out they'll pay $100 to every Wisconsin voter signs a petition against the judges. I love that. Wow, that's huge. We're seeing who corrupt judges are so we can impeach them. Alan, I want to believe that. I just don't think we can. I just don't think they're going to have the votes. I really don't. I want you to be right. I really do. Lynch's Law, no matter how crazy you think the left is double. Ron, he says, why can't Trump administration ignore the rulings like Biden on doing? Well, he could. He could. But here's the problem. If he starts doing that, there will be Republicans that turn on him and he'll lose base support because not all of it and not even a substantial portion, but there's a lot of Americans who are like MAGA, but they're not all in MAGA and they're watching Trump very carefully. And he doesn't want to lose those people, not before the midterms, at least. And so you got to just be very careful because defying courts is a big deal. It really is. It is. Big JR, Elon will be briefed by Pentagon war scenarios with China. Oh, that's interesting. Wisconsinites would do it for a 6-pack of PBR. Yes, they would. Kimmer says Democrat voters so angry they've been lied to, cheated, etc. They can't admit they've been brainwashed. It is an ego thing, and that's where the narcissism comes in. Good old tampon Tim talking crap about Tesla and their pension plan has an excess of 1 million shares. I know, so stupid. I'll play that clip in a minute here. But first, I got a couple other things I want to hit. Kash Patel today announced the FBI and our interagency partners had successfully executed a major drug seizure targeting Mexican cartels and FTOs as part of our Panama Express task force with FBI Tampa. Over 13,000 kilos of cocaine and other drugs cartels were funneling into American streets for hundreds of millions of dollars. That is massive. And why am I sharing this? Because it just shows you that our FBI is doing their job again. Our FBI is doing its job again. And we're seeing justice start to happen everywhere. It's a trickle effect. It's building up. But Cori Bush's husband busted. FBI doing its job. Tesla, those people who are busting up the Teslas, well, those dummies didn't realize each Tesla has 7 cameras on it that records who might touch it. And now they're able to use that camera footage of these people destroying Teslas or severely hurting Teslas. They've been labeled domestic terrorists. So now Pam Bondi is going after these people. I think we got 3 of them today. The minimum sentence, if busted for domestic terrorism, is 20 years. FAFO. F around and find out, guys. If you're messing with Teslas, you're going away for a minimum of 20 years. Once this got, now in the past, Black Lives Matters, all the stuff under Biden, in the past, these guys were used to doing whatever they wanted to do and getting away with it because Biden was not going after them. Nobody was going after these people. Even in 2020, Bill Barr was not going after them under Trump. This, my friends, is changing everything. It's because once these people are cowards, they're absolute cowards. The ones getting paid to do stuff, like at the town halls, some of these being paid to attack Teslas, they're not making much. They're getting paid like $20 an hour. Soros is not a big, but other than that, these guys are just sitting at home smoking weed and playing Xbox. So this $20 an hour, yeah, sure, I'll go burn a Tesla. And then you get 20 years for that. Once that gets out there, starts spreading, this will die down quick. These people are cowards. They're not even true believers. They're doing this to either get attention or they're doing it because they get paid just a little bit. And in both cases, most people won't do it once they realize there's a penalty. And they thought they could get away with it. And now it's cracking down because we have different people in charge and it's beautiful. Okay, last thing I wanted to cover tonight, because I just saw this and this is crazy. But we've been talking about our economy and how bad things have gotten since the ending, the beginning of the Fed, the ending of the gold standard. Look at this. So average hourly wage in GDP. Move. I don't know why I have a Pinterest thing on here. I don't even use Pinterest. That's weird. My wife must have put it on my computer. Anyways, you can see the red line is average hourly wage. Okay. How much you're getting paid by the hour compared to GDP. All right. And you can see it's significantly higher than it is now. And just watch as it crumbles, so does our birth rate. And listen, I'm not a big advocate of people who like, oh, you got to have money to have kids. Well, that's how we get in this problem. Not saying it's easy, but I had 6 kids and I started when I had no money and I made it work. Just by working hard, doing things the right way, not driving new vehicles, and living within my means, bust and hump, and then also living in an amazing community with church people who would give us clothes and stuff. We made it. And thankfully now I don't have to do all that stuff, but made it to a different station in life. But I never use it as an excuse because I believe, like the Bible says, children are a blessing. But it doesn't matter what I believe in this case, because this is what other people believe. And it's like, it's hard to raise kids without money. And you can just see how it's cratered. And we're not going to have a civilization much longer, guys, if this doesn't happen. Okay, we're not. So if you're young, get married and have babies. We need you to do it. As this is unsustainable. Our entire setup right now with Social Security and Medicaid and everything, it's already unsustainable. This is making it much, much, much worse. That soon we're going to have more old people in our country than young people. And that's a terrifying thought. Not just because old people are boring. But have you guys ever seen the movie Children of Men? Awesome movie. In Children of Men, it's been 18 years since some mysterious virus swept through the earth and nobody can have children anymore. And so there's just no children in the world. And the youngest person in the world is 18. And there's a scene where the youngest person in the world dies and everybody's so disheartened by it because it just means there's no future. And this is showing us we have no future. And this started with the baby boomers who had wealth and were selfish. Not all of you guys. I know some of you guys are baby boomers, but I would just mean the generation in general. Selfish, didn't have a lot of kids, brought in no-fault divorce, and so just whatever, free love. That was the baby boomers. They started this trend. And God bless you guys, but the baby boomers really brought in most of the bad stuff in our country. And then we had latchkey kids, Gen X, who actually saved us in this election by being the most Republican conservative generation. Good job, Gen X. I'm 1 year away from being Gen X. Then the millennials who are pretty self-involved, tech kids, we stopped having kids. And thankfully, Gen Z, who everybody was making fun of, is actually the most conservative, traditional generation at a young age that we've had in over 100 years. Gen Z is going to save us, which is awesome. And anyways, this is all crazy stuff, but this is just a shocking statistic, but it also is shocking just how much our money, how little it does anymore. It's just crazy. So, Alan, I didn't say it was you. Every generation has good eggs and bad eggs. Unfortunately, your generation was mostly bad eggs. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened to you guys. But, on your watch, you guys let this all happen. I don't know what to tell you. It's been ugly. Anyways. Alan says, why wouldn't that be a hate crime plus terrorism going after Chelsea? I don't know. I think Republicans in general don't like to use hate crimes because we think they should go away anyways. It's kind of a stupid thing. Isn't all crime hate? So hate crimes are just basically used by liberals to go after people they don't like. So I don't think Republicans in general like to use hate crimes because they don't want to validate them. They just want them to go away. That's kind of how I see at it. Trump wants the EO lower court judge issue to go to SCOTUS. I think they should all go to SCOTUS, or at least one big ruling that says these district judges can't stop him from doing executive action, something like that. MRTKO, did I see the headline from Fox? Drug lords escape from ICE detention center and local authorities in Aurora, Colorado refuse to help. I saw that. It's disgusting. Yeah, they're terrible. Alan says an average week's work back in the day was 1 ounce of gold, an hour, 1 ounce of silver. Are you serious? How far back was that? So let's do the math on that real quick, Alan. Today, that would mean the average person, average work week, that would be an average of $3,000 a week where gold is right now. Or let's just say it's $2,500. Okay. That is 10 grand a month, which means $120,000 average salary in the US. So the equivalent of what you're talking about was 120 grand a year as the average salary in the United States. You guys know what the average salary is in the United States? I think it's like 73,000. I might be wrong. It might be lower. It might be like 55, somewhere in that range. That's all. That's like half. Yeah. And people try to tell us that Trump's dumb for trying to get things back to the way they were. It's crazy. It's crazy. Liam Panetta and Bernie Madoff are the same man. Vin, according to your conspiracies, there's only like 15 people in the whole world because they're all the same people. Barb says, single mom of 3, support them, pay for college, work full-time to side business. That's amazing, Barb. Congrats to you for not making excuses. And Coulter Zuckerberg's mom. What? This is crazy stuff. Did you go to Woodstock, Alan? Brett says, for that amount of gold, was that the days when Dianne Feinstein was in elementary school? Kimber, Washington State is making it mandatory. No government agency or law enforcement can help ICE. They refuse to remove DEI from schools. We need Pam Bondi to go after Washington politicians. You know what's going to happen, Kimber, is what's going to happen is Washington will start losing all of its federal funding for a bunch of stuff. And the blue states always are reliant on federal funding. I mean, all the states kind of are right now, but the blue states really use it because they try to build all these programs and stuff. They're much more expensive to run their states, so they can't run as well without it. And they'll capitulate. It's all talking a good game, a big game, but the truth is none of these states, the way they're built right now, can survive without their federal funding. So Trump pulls that and it's over. It's over. So yeah, it's $75 an hour for gold. That's right, JR. Yeah. Comes out to, the math was, if it's at 3,000, yeah, that's 144 grand a year. If it's more than that because you do 52 weeks. So yeah, that's crazy how much. And people wonder how you could survive back then making $10 an hour. Because that $10 an hour went places. Should be your wages. I agree, Alan. I agree. But here's the problem. And it's not just big business. Listen. And I know you guys don't believe that, but that's what liberals always say. Oh, people aren't paying enough. We should just raise the minimum wage. And that's not how it works. Okay. The businesses are the way they are because of the system. They didn't just decide one day to not pay, as much. That's just not how this works. No, they were paying that. They were paying good wages. But what happened is we created a debt-run system and globalized it, did free trade and everything, and, obviously got off the dollar or the gold standard. And we just kept devaluing our money all the time because our government wanted to spend more money than it brought in. And so it just kept killing it. And now our dollar is worth trash. And what happened is it felt to us, we didn't notice as fast. It took us a while to notice because since we were able to pay slaves 25 cents an hour in China to make our iPhones and to make our shirts, we were able to still buy stuff. And in fact, we could buy more stuff. And because we could buy more stuff, we all thought this is great. And meanwhile, housing becomes unaffordable and gas goes up. And what do they say? We just need more houses. No, we don't. We need it all to make sense. But we created where the only way to truly get wealthy was to create a very successful business or to get lucky with assets. Lucky, or to know what you're doing with assets. That was the only way to truly get wealthy. And when you removed a person's ability to just work hard and save and get wealthy, you crush the middle class. And now that's where we're at. And you just can't live that American dream anymore unless you bust your butt or get lucky. And that's not how it should be. We shouldn't have to, don't get me wrong, I'm all for working hard. I think you should work hard. But we shouldn't have to be striving just to get by. That's not how life should be. And that's unfortunately where we're at. Your minimum wage was $3 an hour, Kimmer. My first minimum wage, I got my first job in 2000. I was 16 at a movie theater in California. And the minimum wage was $4.75. That was only 25 years ago. Minimum wage in California now, I think, is 15 in just 25 years. So isn't that crazy? Ficus, if you raise minimum wage, companies have to lay people off. Exactly. The minimum wage is not the problem. It's not the problem. And by the way, teenagers back then weren't making that money that Alan said, the average wage. That's not what teenagers were making. They were making $1 a week. They were making nothing, maybe $5 a week if they really worked hard. And, but even that $5 a week, you could save. You could go to college. Stuff made sense. Oh, Alan, you didn't go to Woodstock. You were 10. Steak, your first check, first job in 86 was $180 for 2 weeks. There you go. See? And I bet you felt awesome about it. Kid, it's been 60 days. Pressure will mount against those with nonsensical thoughts. Trust the process. Republic's being reborn. Kit, I love you. You say exactly what I'm thinking. It's not only being reborn, which I agree with you. It's going to be better than ever because we're going to rebuild all the best stuff about our country in the beginning. We're going to get all that back, in my opinion, and we're going to have on top of it all the awesome stuff we have now, which is better technology, more opportunity, more knowledge available for those who want it. Yeah, so it's going to be awesome. Work hard, play hard. That's right. All right, guys. On that note, no, sorry, there's no ham tonight. If you guys want, listen, everything Ham had to say today, really nothing's changed since last night, except for this Finger S3 stuff, but I really don't think it's going to be a big deal. So if you want to know what Ham thinks, go listen to last night. Really nothing changed today. All right. And that live is still available. It was a members live and I made it available to everybody. Okay. I made it available to everybody because after the live part, so the members could be the ones who asked questions and got them live. I wanted everybody to be able to at least listen because of the investment stuff. So it is available for everybody. Big Jar, your first job was on a farm up the street from you. It was $5 an hour. Got it by putting flyers in mailboxes. $5 an hour? That's a good deal for 13, man. What year was that, JR? Alan, that was a working wage you were talking about. Exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah. I knew you were. Corporations busy filling warehouses now and playing massive layoffs at 100%. MRTKO in 2020, CEO of the company received $10 million bonus on top of his salary. You didn't get raises or bonuses. That's so messed up. And then Vance for 8 years. I'm telling you guys, I really think it's coming. I really think it's going to be Trump oversees the Trump. 1989, you were making $5 an hour at 13, JR. Holy smokes. You were rich, bro. You were rich. You were making more than I was making minimum wage 16 in 2000. You spoiled kid. You spoiled brat. Anyways, what was I saying? I really believe Trump is here to do the dirty work, to clean up the mess. He's here to get justice. He's here to fight the courts, get us all back, to destroy the Democratic Party, to fight and get all of our foreign stuff back. Trump is like the messenger of doom, but the good doom, like the what we want for our side. He's breaking it. He's breaking the system. And so that we never have to go back to it. He's exposing everybody. That's Trump's mission. I really believe that. And then what he's going to set in place, he's here to oversee the broken economy and to get it started. He's laying foundations. And then I do believe JD Vance is going to have 8 years to rebuild on top of it. And he's going to be perfect. He's more diplomatic. He's better spoken. He's more calm. He's very likable. I think Vance is going to truly build the golden age. That's what I believe is going to happen. I really think it's a David Solomon scenario. David was the man of war. He saved Israel. He made Israel strong. He defeated the Philistines. He gave Israel the strongest kingdom they've ever had, and at that time the world had ever seen. And then he wanted to build the temple. He wanted to lead them into the golden age. And God told him, no, you shed too much blood. You're a man of war. He said, your son will be a son of peace. So Solomon comes in, and in Solomon's time, he builds the temple, but he also creates an economy where it says in ancient Israel and in the Bible, it says that in Solomon's economy, silver was worthless. Silver was like stones because there was so much gold. Solomon built the greatest economy in world history. And, it still lives on. The Bible is the only historical record of it, which I believe the Bible. There's plenty of other things that have only one historical record and people are like, yeah, it's definitely true. But the Bible are like, no, there's no way that's true. Shut the heck up. There's more proof of the Bible than most historical documents, ancient historical documents. Anyways, but there's many other mythologies that include Solomon because he was so famous. So there's talk of Africans talk about Solomon's mines. And so anyways, I think it's all true, but that's how rich people were in Solomon's time, that silver was worthless. So I think we're looking at the best economy ever coming in the next few years, but we got to go through the suck first. But anyways, I see that JR never responded to me calling him a spoiled kid. Anyways. All right, guys, on that note, I got called tonight. I went late tonight, but that's okay. We had fun, right? All right, let me say a prayer and get us out of here. So Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this amazing group. Thank you so much for all that's going on in our country. It is a miracle. I truly believe it was a miracle that happened because the people woke up, they fought, and they prayed. I really believe that. I really believe that the nation started turning as they awoke. And God, that's exactly how you always do it. So I thank you for that. I thank you for the miracle of our people in charge. And God, I pray that they have wisdom to keep doing everything they need to do while also maintaining the trust of the people. I pray the people will keep waking up. And I pray you give us all wisdom and how to navigate, how to teach, how to spread, how to support whatever is going on in our country that needs to be done. And then I also pray prosperity comes to everybody in this chat and everybody fighting the good fight. So thank you, Lord, for all you're doing. We love you. And again, bless this group in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys. I'm kidding, JR, but you got $5 an hour in 1989, man. That's pretty good. Do I think I might make an appearance this weekend? Full disclosure. This weekend is my wife's birthday weekend. So odds of seeing me are lower than usual. Most likely, if I jump on, it's going to be either tomorrow night or Saturday during the day. There's a chance you might not see me Sunday because that's my wife's actual birthday. Saturday night, I'm going on a big day with her. I get to go see Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Gaffigan live here in Charlotte together. So I'm stoked about that. Brett, I will try to give people a heads up if I'm coming on during the weekend. But I might just be sneaky and jump on when nobody expects it. But if you don't see me, it's because I'm gone with my honey. It's her birthday, and I'm excited to celebrate with her. So, but thank you guys. Please, again, like, subscribe before you leave. Consider supporting the channel. If you haven't already, it's $3 a month to join. And just greatly appreciate you guys so much. So is me and Joe DeVoe going to be there? I don't know, actually. I don't know, but I'm excited to see it. So, but yeah, most likely if you guys see me this weekend, it'll be either tomorrow night or Saturday afternoon. Okay. All right. God bless you guys. Have a great weekend if I don't see you, and take care. Good night.